What if I told you that the richest people on Earth are playing a completely different game than you? And no, I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like having more money or better investments. I mean, there's a secret side to wealth so invisible, so rarely discussed, that most people don't even realize it exists. This hidden layer isn't about flashy cars, mansions, or some private island. It's about power, psychology, and a set of unspoken rules the wealthy follow religiously. Rules that are quietly shaping who wins and who stays stuck. Stick around, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. The side of wealth you never hear about. Let's be honest, we've all been sold the idea that wealth is just numbers in a bank account. Work hard, save, invest, retire. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. That's the story you're supposed to believe. The secret side of wealth is about positioning, perception, and control. But here's the kicker. The ultra-wealthy don't just own assets. They own the game itself. They control the rules, bend them when they need to, and quietly profit while the rest of us argue over crumbs. Want to know how they do it? Let's break it down into 10 brutally honest truths they live by, but no one tells you about. 1. Wealth is about control, not money. First off, let's get something straight, because I don't want people walking away from this video still confused about money. Most people believe being rich means having stacks of cash lying around, but the wealthy know that cash is just a tool, temporary and expendable. The wealthy understand that what matters isn't the cash itself, but what you control with it. When you control something valuable, businesses, patents, land, intellectual property, you control the income streams that money can't outpace. Take Disney as an example. It's not about the movies alone. It's about controlling characters, franchises, and entire ecosystems of revenue that last generations. The rich focus on assets that give them influence and choices. That's why they buy companies, not just products. They own real estate, not just rent it. They invest in brands, not just spend on them. Control means having the ability to dictate terms. It's the difference between renting a house and owning the entire block. One person's decisions are limited by bills, while the other's decisions shape the entire neighborhood's future value. Even on a small scale, control matters. When you own your time, your skills, your side business, you're already operating on the wealthy's wavelength. They play chess, thinking 3 moves ahead, while most people are stuck moving pawns one step at a time. And if that already sounds like an unfair advantage, wait until you see how they control something even more powerful than money itself: your perception. 2. The rich manipulate perception. A few years ago, I finally started to realize a sneaky truth. Wealth isn't just built, it's marketed. The rich understand that how the world sees them can open doors or close them. They craft an image with surgical precision, sometimes showing off to attract deals, other times blending into the crowd to protect their moves. Think of celebrities flaunting designer everything. That's one side of the coin, using flash to create influence and attract opportunity. On the flip side, there are billionaires like Ingvar Kamprad, founder of IKEA, who drove an old Volvo and flew economy to avoid drawing attention. Both strategies serve the same purpose: shaping perception to their advantage. Perception manipulation also extends to brands they own. Luxury companies deliberately create scarcity to make their products more desirable, while tech giants appear friendly and innovative to mask monopolistic power. It's all a psychological game. If people believe you're powerful, opportunities will magnetize to you. If they think you're unthreatening, you can make big moves under the radar. For everyday people, this can be applied by managing how you present yourself online, at work, or in business. Your reputation is an asset. Curate it, protect it, and use it strategically. But image is only the surface layer. Underneath, the wealthy guard something far more valuable than their reputation: their time. 3. Time is their ultimate currency. This, unfortunately, is one of the biggest problems most young folks have, and I'm sure you might be one of them. Average people trade time for money. The wealthy trade money to buy back their time. While the average person fills their day with endless to-do lists, the rich guard their time like a fortress. They use money to buy freedom, from hiring assistants to automating tasks. So every hour is spent on decisions that actually move the needle. Consider Warren Buffett, for example, who famously spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading and thinking. Why? Because he knows that a single informed decision can be worth billions, while 10 rushed ones can cost everything. Elon Musk uses teams and systems to execute his vision, freeing himself to focus on innovation rather than routine. The lesson? Stop exchanging your hours for dollars. Start building systems, whether it's a side business, investments, or automation, that make money work for you. Outsource the small stuff. Focus on the big moves. The wealthy aren't working harder. They're working smarter with their most precious currency, time. By the way, if you want to use your time the right way and focus on financial freedom, when you finish watching this video, go back and watch our previous videos on the stealth wealth mindset. We've created an entire playlist. Just make sure to subscribe to the channel and consider becoming a member to always stay updated. Oh, and speaking of decisions, there's a reason their choices seem to always play out perfectly. It's not luck. It's the secret network they tap into. 4. Wealth lives in hidden networks. Let me explain this to you clearly, because here's the reality no one teaches in school. Wealth doesn't grow in isolation. The richest people in the world aren't just lucky, they're connected. They operate inside hidden networks where valuable information, exclusive deals, and game-changing opportunities flow freely. These networks are invisible to most people because they're built quietly, through relationships, trust, and time. Billionaires attend private events, join elite clubs, or simply maintain tight circles where only those who bring value are invited. Inside these rooms, investments are made, markets are influenced, and partnerships are born before the public ever hears a word. Think of how early investors in companies like Facebook or Uber got access. It wasn't because they clicked on an ad. They were in the right rooms with the right people. Wealth travels faster in these closed loops. For the average person, this principle still applies. Build relationships with mentors, join professional communities, network with people smarter than you. Opportunities rarely fall from the sky, they're passed hand to hand. And honestly, if you want me to create a video about building networks, please let me know in the comments so I can see if there's interest. But access alone won't save you if you're not playing the game with the right mindset. And trust me, their mindset is nothing like what you've been taught. 5. They think in decades, not days. So what does that even mean? Well, just put it this way. Most people think in paychecks. The wealthy think in decades. The average person makes decisions based on what will make life easier this week or this month. The wealthy, they're looking 10, 20, even 50 years ahead. This long-term vision is what separates them from everyone else. They plant seeds knowing they might not see the full harvest, but their children will. Consider Jeff Bezos. When he started Amazon, he didn't aim to make a quick profit. He reinvested for years, focusing on dominance decades down the road. The same applies to real estate moguls who buy undervalued properties, patiently waiting as neighborhoods transform. Their wealth compounds because they allow time to work in their favor. This mindset applies to anyone willing to think beyond the next paycheck. Build investments that grow, learn skills that appreciate, and make decisions that benefit your future self. Instant gratification keeps most people broke. Patience builds empires. And while they're playing the long game, they also use one trick that flips the risk entirely in their favor. A trick most people never consider. 6. They don't avoid risk, they manage it. Listen carefully now, because I'm going to explain something that relates to all aspects of your life, not just money. The middle class is taught to fear risk, save everything, avoid mistakes, and play it safe. But here's the secret. Avoiding risk completely is the riskiest move of all. The wealthy know that risk is inevitable, so instead of hiding from it, they control it. They do this by stacking the odds in their favor, and this is what I'll explain to you, so pay attention. They research, diversify, insure, and always have a backup plan. When they invest, they don't gamble blindly. They calculate potential losses and make moves that minimize the downside while maximizing the upside. That's why when markets crash, they scoop up assets at a discount while others panic. Take hedge funds or real estate investors. They structure deals where their potential loss is limited, but the potential gain is enormous. Even when they fail small. When they win big. For everyday people, this means you shouldn't avoid opportunities just because there's a chance of failure. Educate yourself, start small, and manage the risks rather than letting them paralyze you. The wealthy don't fear risk because they've learned how to tame it. Managing risk is only half the secret. The other half knowing when to stay quiet about their wins. 7. The wealthiest operate in silence. Now, I know this might sound counterintuitive for those that are new to the channel, but please just hear me out for a second. The fact is, the wealthiest individuals often say the least. They know that loud money attracts unwanted attention. Tax authorities, lawsuits, opportunists, and even competitors. Silence protects them, allowing their assets to grow without unnecessary scrutiny. This is why many billionaires live modestly or keep their investments under wraps. Think of Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, who drove a simple pickup truck despite being worth billions, or the countless real estate tycoons whose names you've never heard, yet they own entire city blocks. They deliberately keep their wealth invisible to maintain control and avoid becoming targets. Operating quietly also gives them a strategic edge. They can make moves, buying companies, acquiring land, entering new markets, without triggering reactions that could ruin their plans. Stealth is power. For you, this doesn't mean hiding everything, but it does mean avoiding the trap of flexing for validation. Build quietly, invest smartly, and let your results speak louder than your words. But don't mistake their silence for inaction. Behind the scenes, they're moving pieces that change the entire board. 8. They own the rules of the game. All right, now, here's where the game becomes truly unfair, and it's something you need to take seriously. When you're wealthy enough, you stop playing by the rules and start writing them. The rich influence regulations, tax codes, and even market behavior to align with their interests. This isn't a conspiracy, it's strategy. Consider how major corporations lobby governments to create favorable laws. These laws can mean billions in tax breaks or policies that give them an edge over competitors. Wealthy investors set up trusts, foundations, and legal structures that protect their assets while minimizing what they owe. They're not breaking the law, they're shaping it. Even in business, owning the rules means controlling the terms of the game. Think of Apple controlling its App Store ecosystem or Amazon setting standards for online retail. When you control the platform, you decide who wins and who loses. For everyday people, this lesson is about understanding the rules you operate under and learning how to bend them in your favor, legally and strategically. Educate yourself on taxes, contracts, and systems so you can stop being a pawn and start moving like a queen on the board. And while they're rewriting the rules, they're also mastering something invisible yet priceless: leverage. 9. Leverage is their superpower. Wealthy people don't just work hard, they work smart with leverage. Think of leverage as the secret multiplier that separates the wealthy from everyone else. It's the art of using resources, other people's time, money, skills, and technology to achieve exponentially greater results than you could on your own. While the average person thinks in terms of effort, they'll say things like, "I work, I get paid." The rich think in terms of systems that work for them around the clock. Consider real estate investors who use bank loans to buy properties worth millions, putting down only a fraction of the cost. Their tenants pay the mortgage while the property appreciates in value. That's leverage in action. Entrepreneurs use teams to scale their businesses, letting others handle operations while they focus on strategy. Even technology, like AI or automation, is a form of leverage that multiplies their output without increasing their workload. Leverage also applies to influence. A single tweet from a billionaire can shift markets because they've built platforms that amplify their voice. The rich build these platforms intentionally, knowing they can create massive impact with minimal effort. For you, leverage might start small. Hiring a freelancer to free up your time, learning how to invest with borrowed capital, or using online tools to automate parts of your income stream. The key is to stop relying solely on your own hands and start building systems that work harder than you ever could. And finally, the richest of the rich hold one last secret, one that explains why they keep winning even when they seem to lose. 10. They play infinite games. You're told life is a series of wins and losses. The wealthy see life as an infinite game where the goal isn't to win once. It's to keep playing, keep growing, keep compounding. This shift in thinking changes everything. They build systems that endure, businesses that can thrive without them, and investments that compound long after they're gone. Take families like the Rockefellers or Rothschilds. Generations continue to benefit from structures put in place over a century ago. This is because the original builders weren't chasing quick profits. They were creating a machine that would outlive them. Infinite game thinking also influences how they handle setbacks. Where most people see failure as an endpoint, the wealthy see it as feedback. A failed investment isn't a disaster. It's a lesson that shapes the next move. They play with resilience, adjusting strategies while keeping their eyes on the long horizon. You can adopt this mindset by shifting focus from immediate rewards to long-term stability. Start building assets that grow, relationships that last, and skills that appreciate in value. Every step should feed into something bigger than the moment. When you realize the game never ends, you stop chasing quick wins and start building empires that last generations. Bottom line, the secret side of wealth isn't a hack you can Google. It's a mindset, a network, and a way of moving through the world that flips the script from survival to dominance. The good news, you can start applying these principles today. Control your time, build networks, think long-term, play quietly, use leverage, and above all, play the infinite game. If this video opened your eyes to the game you didn't know you were playing, don't just click away. Comment the words, "I'm building wealth," so I know who's serious. As a matter of fact, there are actually 15 lessons rich parents teach their kids about wealth that you definitely don't want to miss out on. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.